welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 15th March 2025. So let's get started with our discussion, guys. So let us see the first important article. So actually I find this very interesting image in International Edition of Hindu. So this image is talking about they are going for uh, providing some water source in one important tiger reserve. That tiger reserve is Nagarhole Tiger Reserve. So whenever you are getting this kind of things in your paper that is about any tiger reserve or any national park or any wildlife sanctuary, you have to be very much prepared about that. So here now let us see this topic, and especially you have to see some basic things. So let me write the keyword, that is Nagarhole Tiger Reserve. So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So what are the things that you have to see, guys? You have to see in which state it is located. And you have to see some facts regarding this tiger reserve. So recently tiger reserve is in news. Why? Because Madhav National Park had got the status of tiger reserve. That is 58th tiger reserve in India. So you have to know about some basics of tiger reserve for sure, and in which year it got its status, everything. And this Nagarhole Tiger Reserve is which tiger reserve in India, that is number. And even you have to see flora and fauna in this region, and even you have to see about if there are taking any conservation efforts, you have to see all those things. So this is very important, guys. So now let us see this topic in detail. So this Nagarhole Tiger Reserve is also known as Rajiv Gandhi National Park, and where it is located in state of Karnataka. And when it was established in year 1955 as a wildlife sanctuary, and later on it had been upgraded into national park, and later on it had been declared as a tiger reserve. Okay, and it is the 37th tiger reserve in our country. And if you see about this flora and fauna, so this reserve which boosts rich biodiversity, and it is having good vegetation which is ranging from dry deciduous to tropical mixed deciduous forest. And if you see flora, that means nothing but plant species, this area is very much important for certain plants like rosewood, Indian kino, sandalwood, and clumping bamboo. And not only that, this area is very rich in fauna. Like we can see Bengal tigers, Indian leopards, wild dogs, Asian elephants, guars, sambar deer, cheetal, and even various bird species we can see. And even we can see vultures and as well as nilgai as well. So now let us see about some certain conservation activities, which are happening in this tiger reserve. So actually this Nagarhole Tiger Reserve, which forms under the key part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. And even we have to see some adjacent parks. So we have Bandipur National Park, we have Mudumalai National Park, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. So all these are the large protected areas which are present nearby. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to remember. And now let us see the next article. If you see the title, it says that officials begin installation of solar fence at Kerala farm to curb elephant intrusion. So this article is important from one very crucial topic, that is human-animal conflict. Human-animal conflict. So in which subject you will see this, guys? From GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, you will be seeing this topic. And here what you have to see, here you have to see what is the meaning of this human-animal conflict or man-animal conflict, whatever it may be. And you have to see what are the important causes for this human-animal conflict. And you have to see about what are the measures taken by the government. So in these measures you can take international measures, what are they? And you have to see national level, and you have to at the state level, and even at the district level, what are the examples or what are the examples of conservation methods. And even you have to see relevant and recent examples of human-animal conflict in India. Okay, so all these are very important. So in measures we can use solar fencing, right? So because of this is in use. And here now you have to see about this solar fencing. Solar fencing is nothing but if you are having a crop, around this we will be going for electric wiring, and these electric wiring will be dependent on solar power. Okay, and recently Odisha state government came up with this solar fencing project. So from that point of view, you have to see what is the solar fencing project of Odisha and what are the objectives, what are the advantages, and what are the challenges, everything that you have to see from that point also. So there is a high chance of getting question regarding this solar fencing project in your examination. So you have to be very much careful about that. So now let us see context. Kerala Forest Department has initiated construction of solar fence at which area? Aralam farm in Kannur. Especially in Kerala, they are going for construction of the solar farms for temporary purpose. Why? Because they want to decrease human-animal conflict. So if you see some details which are given in this article, the first important point you have to focus is, yes, whenever we are going for this installing of the solar fence, so that means we can understand that, yes, we are having this problem of human-animal conflict, and it is a very wide concern of the people. So we have to take some urgent steps to manage this human-wildlife conflict, especially in the regions where we have human settlements. Especially, who will be vulnerable for this human animal conflict? That is, tribal people will be more vulnerable, right? So here especially tribal settlements need to be take care of whenever we are focusing on decreasing of human animal conflict. And next one here is, whenever we are going for the solar fence, it will be acting as not only physical boundary, but even we can understand that how we can use technology for management of this wildlife issues. And even we have to come up with both temporary and as well as permanent solution for this, so that we can focus on more conservation things. So what is the solar fence project of this Odisha? An important objective it is to resolve human animal conflicts, that too human elephant conflicts, and we can safeguard our crops through sustainable and humane methods. And actually they are using the solar powered fence, so it will be emitting, yes, power, but it is at a very low level, low intensity, so that it will be not causing death in animals. And next one here is, yes, farmers, they will contribute around 10% of this project cost, and owners will be sharing around 550% each, and others will be borne by the government. And what is the impact of this project? Yes, finally this project had been led to decreasing of elephant intrusions into farmlands, and even it also improved farmers' income and as well as minimized human wildlife conflict. So it is one of the success story that happened in Odisha, so that we can also improve the same lines in Kerala as well, so that we can reduce this human animal conflicts now. Okay, clear? And now let us see the next article. Title says women can opt for surrogacy till 51, says High Court. So the important keyword here is surrogacy. The important keyword is surrogacy. So in which subject you will see? You will see in GS paper 2 under polity and governance. So what are the dimensions you have to see, guys? First of all, you have to understand what is the meaning of surrogacy. You know that recently film actor Nayanthara also got twins, two boys, through this surrogacy. So you have to know that, right? Surrogacy, what is it? And you have to see what are the different types of surrogacy. And next, we have surrogacy related act in India. So you have to see what are the provisions under that act. Okay? So all these things are very important, guys, and you can expect a quaint based question from this surrogacy. Be careful. So now let us see here why this article is in use. So a division bench of Kerala High Court held that the eligibility of a woman to avail this surrogacy service, it is 50 years only. If she turns 51 means they will be not eligible for surrogacy under this Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. So what is surrogacy? Surrogacy is nothing but it is an arrangement where a woman known as a surrogate mother, she will agree to carry and deliver a baby of another individual or other couple. That is called as surrogacy. Surrogacy is nothing but, in short, you are renting another woman's womb. Okay, you are taking rent of a womb of a woman where she will be providing service of carrying the baby for 9 months and delivering the baby. After delivering the baby will be returned or handed over to the intended couple. Okay, so we have normally two types of surrogacies. First one is traditional surrogacy, second one is gestational surrogacy. So actually, if a couple who is having some problem, especially woman, is having any problem regarding uterus, if she can't carry the pregnancy, then she can go for taking of a rent of a womb. So in this traditional surrogacy, so here father's sperm is used and surrogate mother egg is used. That means the baby who is borning, that baby is biologically related to the father plus surrogate mother. So in this traditional surrogacy, sperm is from father and egg is from surrogate mother. So there is no involvement of the wife of this person here. That is called as traditional surrogacy. And next one is gestation surrogacy. Gestation surrogacy is nothing but egg is from mother, sperm is from father. But these two people will be taking rent of a woman. She is surrogate mother. That means whatever the baby she is giving birth, so these couple are the biological parents. Okay, so this is about your gestation surrogacy. That means only for the 9 months of period you will be taking rent of a woman womb. Okay, and next one is, what are the surrogacy arrangements in India? So we have two types of surrogacies again here. Altruistic surrogacy, next one is commercial surrogacy. Altruistic surrogacy is nothing but, whenever we are taking a rent of a woman, she is the very close relative and that person will be getting only money for the hospital. Okay, she does not receive any financial compensation. She will be getting only money for the medical expenses and related cost only. That is called as altruistic surrogacy. And the primary motive of this altruistic surrogacy, it is to help other individual or a couple to have their children. And but what is this commercial surrogacy? Commercial surrogacy is nothing but it involves contractual agreement where surrogate mother receives some financial compensation. Okay, not only they will be getting that surrogate mother is getting the money for the medical expenses, but even she will be getting 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs for giving birth to a child. That is called as commercial. Okay, and in India we don't permit this commercial surrogacy. So what is the act that is related to the surrogacy in India? We have Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. So under this act here, surrogacy is permissible only for altruistic purpose, not for commercial purpose. It is very clearly written. And next one here is, what is eligibility requirement? So couples should have married, okay, and this marriage life should be more than 5 years. And next one is, wife should be between 25 to 50 years and husband age should be 26 to 55 years. And couple, they should not have any living child, whether biological or adopted or through surrogacy. And next one here is, yes, if you see about the surrogate mother criteria, that mother should be surrogate mother who is giving her womb for rent. So she should be a very close relative of that couple and she should be obviously married and she should have their own children. Okay, and her age should be 25 to 35 years only. Okay, and after birth that child whoever born is legally belong to this intended couple. Okay, and there is one article regarding Aditya L1 mission. Scientists observe a flareless coronal mass ejection. So actually we discussed about this Aditya L1 number of times in our discussion, right? So here there are two words which gave, that is solar flare and next one is coronal mass ejection. So these are some basic things that you have to know and we are going to discuss that what is solar flare and as well as coronal mass ejection. So solar flare, it is an intense burst of radiation and this radiation will comes from the sun. Okay, especially there is a release of magnetic energy will be released, which is associated with sunspots. And actually these flares are our solar system's largest explosive events, and they are seen as a bright areas on the sun. Okay, and in a matter of just a few minutes, so they will transfer huge amount of heat and radiation as well. So because of the solar flares, it will be having lots of impact. So in 2022, I guess there was a question regarding what are the impacts of solar flare. Okay, so these 2 points given. So first, foremost impact here is it will affect our satellites. It will also disrupt radio signals. It can also pose risk to astronauts who are there in space because of high heat. And this one here is it will also lead to geomagnetic storms, and whatever the power grids which are present on our Earth's surface will be also get affected. And this one is it also cause auroras. Okay. And what is this coronal mass ejection? It is a large expulsion of plasma and as well as magnetic field from the sun's atmosphere. And during this coronal mass ejection, it will releases lots of amounts of material like electrons, protons, heavier ions, and even magnetic field. So you have to remember that. And now let us see the next article. So it is very important article of the day. So it is talking about APAAR, APAR ID. And this topic is important from your governance and students who are writing this year 2025 prelims. So this topic is at most important. Okay, now let us see what is this APAR ID. So if you see the full form, APAR is nothing but Automated Permanent Academic Account Register. That is nothing but One Nation, One Student ID. Okay. So actually it was introduced in accordance with our National Education Policy 2020. Okay. And if you want to do registration with this ID, it is voluntary, it is not mandatory, guys. So what is the objective? The objective it is to streamline and it is to enhance academic experience of the students. And actually here under this ID you will be getting 12-digit permanent ID to each students. Okay, so what are the benefits? So we are going to improve accountability and transparency in our education system, and we can also keep our academic records, everything in a single ID. And next one is we can enhance efficiency. We can also combat fraud and co-curricular achievements, etc. And we can also use it for smooth transfer of work process, and even we can use that for data driven decision making, and it will also helpful for the students to easily share their academic records so that they will be having easy access for employment. And what are the concerns? So we have privacy concerns. So whenever we are keeping all our records there, yes, obviously our right to privacy will be getting affected. Okay, so when we consolidate academic records into centralized database, so we will be having some concerns of security of the data and as well as privacy of an individual. And even there is also increased risk of theft sometimes, that is cyber issues can happen. And next one here is whenever we are having this kind of advanced things, so urban area people will be getting benefited, but what about the rural areas? They can't, right? So there will be a digital divide. It is also one impact that we can see, guys. Okay, that is the thing that you have to remember. And there is one article regarding yesterday's Tamil Nadu government announcement of replacing of Ru with Rupai. Okay, so see that article once. Already we discussed that yesterday in yesterday's class. Just focus on what is this three language policy. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Everything. So these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindi newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do like this class and share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathore Science Academy.